Jono, thanks for joining us. One of our regular catch-ups. We're here at Radlett, bright sunny day. First of 2 games tomorrow against Warwickshire. Crucial games as we near the end of the group stages.
Yeah, absolutely. As you know what I'm going to say. Every game we've tried to approach in the same way. We'll be doing that again over the next 3 games. And if we, again, do the things that we're trying to do and that we're doing pretty well, then we'll get positive results.
It's been some roller coaster of a season. Obviously, incredible start to the year, unbeaten in April and May. Tough blast. Really bounced back to form in the 50 over stuff. I guess a lot of that is thanks to Stevie Eskenazi and the incredible form he's been in. But it's been wonderful recently to see others stepping up. Certainly in the last game when Esky failed. Great 100 for Milan.
Yeah, look, I think we've said all along, Championship cricket we're going to compete hard in. Everyone's got to compete hard to be in the side, stay in the side, and if they're out the side they've got to compete hard. I think we talked a lot about the T20s, about building a young team and trying to give experience as much as we can along the way, and we were very open at the start of the 50 over competition. We knew we had some senior players, senior red ball players that are converting into white ball cricket, and we said there was a bit more crossover in red and 50 over cricket, and it's shown that those senior players have stepped up, and as you say, Steve's been absolutely brilliant. He's scored runs every single time, got us off to a great start, and the boys have played well around him so far. So the chat is always whether he should still be with us or in the 100, which is always an interesting question. But from our point of view, we're lucky to have him, and he's capped him well as well. So hopefully his form will continue.
Absolutely. I think there's a few 100 coaches probably kicking themselves at the moment. But you look at that T20 side, I don't want to dwell on that, but I guess we did persevere with a very young side. What has been impressive, I guess, in the 50 over tournament is not only are those experienced heads coming in and raising their game and playing as we know they can, but that's helped lift those youngsters, and that's possibly what was missing from the T20 side, was a couple of experienced heads to perhaps give them a lift and a bit of match experience.
Yeah, absolutely. But we don't have those experienced T20 guys. Yeah. We've got guys who can play T20, absolutely, Rocky and Robbo and stuff, but even in their own minds, they're not specialist T20 players. So we don't have that in our squad particularly, which is why we went down the road of obviously backing our young players and putting a lot of games into those guys. And Rocky and Robbo have been fantastic, and Peter have been fantastic around the group with 50 over cricket, even in practice, say like today, talking to the young players about how to negotiate those middle overs. Still an area where we've fallen down a little bit, where we've had big contributions and big partnerships, and then we've failed a little bit after that. Has been consistent, so we're working out ways how we can get through that. And again, we're talking about young players coming into those positions that don't have the experience, and we're trying to help them along the way. So, from our point of view, we don't feel we've played anywhere near the perfect game yet, and we're striving to be as near to that as we can every game.
I think that's one of the things I've noticed, Jono, is we seem to be winning games of cricket from really different positions, whether it's batting first and bowling second, or whether it's bowling first and chasing. We've bowled first, conceded some big totals, held our nerve just about, got over the line, but that seems to be the big difference. We've got a bit of guts about us, a bit of resilience, and we're finding ways to win games of cricket.
Yeah, look, the individual performances we talked about have been first rate. I still think as a team we need to come together a bit better. The games that have got close we should have made simpler. I think everyone watching can probably see that. But we've chatted about that, and hopefully we can put that into practice over the next few days. They're big games coming up, as you say, in terms of they're good sides that we've got to play, and every team that we've played against has been a strange mix really. It's a bit like our mix. You've got good red ball cricketers playing 50 over cricket that can play it pretty well. You've got youngsters who have been given an opportunity. So there are times in games where you feel like you might be out the game, but suddenly a wicket, and a big wicket comes, and you've got guys who are inexperienced coming in, and you can sort of jump on it a little bit, and people have done that to us as well a little bit. So that's where you get the funny sort of result sometimes, or the swings and roundabouts in a game,
You mentioned the 100 earlier, John. I just want to get a coach's take on that. How frustrating is it for you as a head coach to lose someone like Toby and have him sat on the sidelines at Spirit and not even bowling a ball yet, just carrying the drinks?
Yeah, look, everyone's going through it. It is frustrating, I suppose, but it's part of the game. We knew that was going to happen. More of the worry is more about when he comes out the other side and you haven't bowled any balls in match situations where we know there's more pressure and more intensity and puts more strain on your body, and then you're going into a championship game on the back of it. So that's more about concern physically rather than anything else, because I know Tobes, and he'll be looking after himself, be bowling enough in the nets and stuff, and physically he'll be in top shape, but it's just that match intensity and that match edge that is missing. So I think that's the biggest worry. Batters generally it's not so much of a worry, but certainly around the bowlers can be a bit of a worry. So yeah, a bit of frustration, but we knew at the start of the tournament that was the case.
Good stuff. I think I mentioned to you when we last spoke about Umesh and how he's settled into the side. He's currently the joint leading wicket taker of the competition. Haven't checked this morning, that could well have changed yesterday. But he's hit the ground running, he's settled in brilliantly. It's going to be great to have him around, not only for the rest of the 50 over campaign, but also the championship campaign as well. Absolutely,
he's fitted in. I think I've said this a couple of times, but he's fitted in like he's been here, for many years. The boys absolutely love him. He's a wealth of knowledge that he's happy to share. He's been fantastic, and hopefully he'll carry on next few games, bowling as he has in the last few.
That'd be nice. I know you, on a match by match basis, you look at things, you don't look too far ahead. That's important, I get that. In terms of the squad you're building, do you look at people like Peter and Umesh and kind of start to think now, wouldn't mind having them around next year?
I think you'd always want your good players around. Peter has been first rate as well. What he gives to the group behind the scenes is just as important as what you see out in the middle, and we've actually come across two really, really good characters, really good personalities, fantastic for the young players. So of course you want them around if it can happen, but that's Coley's job, not mine.
Squad of 13 named for tomorrow, Jono. Same 14 as per Grantham and Taunton, obviously less Ethan. A few questions raised as to why we rested Ethan for those two games. Expand upon that. I know he's got a slight niggle.
Yeah, Ethan's been brilliant in this tournament so far. We spoke to Ethan all year about the length he's bowling, and he's been, he's had some helpful wickets in the last few years to bowl on, where you can bowl a bit fuller, and it's quite hard as a bowler to change length, and he struggled a little bit to start with, which you're going to do because that's a natural thing that you have. And he's bowled absolutely brilliantly in the middle of the season, bringing his length back, coming back in the last Champo game and bowling very, very well. And he's continued that in the 50 over cricket, and you watch the length he bowls now, it's hard to get away, and he's been a big loss. But it is a loss because he did have a niggle. He wasn't rested. I left him out the first game just to see if I could get him fit for the Taunton game, but he wasn't ready for that, and he's not ready for tomorrow either. So we're just going to do that on a day-to-day sort of basis, and hopefully he'll be back, possibly for Sussex. I don't know 100%, but maybe for Sussex.
Okay, John, I'm not looking too far ahead, but we are 3 games to go.
You are looking ahead?
Yeah, I'm looking ahead. You don't have to, but it would be helpful if you did, because then you'll answer the question. 3 games to go. We currently sit third. Prior to yesterday, we were top of the group. It's so tightly packed up there. You can probably rule out the bottom 2 in the group. You could possibly also rule out Surrey, who've got 5 points from 6 games played, but there's still 6 sides there that are snaffling for points. We've got 3 games against 3 of those sides, so every game is crucial. Do you sit here and now, I know you're looking at the next game, but do you sit here and now thinking 1 or 2 wins will get us that place, or are you?
How would you like me to think? Well, you answer the question for me.
I'd like you to think we're going to get home semi-final. Would you like to confirm that?
Look, as I said to you all along, we're trying to win every game of cricket we can play. We just have to do it, by ticking off what we believe is our identity and how we go about the game. If we can do that, there's no reason why we can't win all 3. If we don't do that, we won't win all 3. So it's as simple as that, really. Of course, the aim is to win. The aim is to win everything. But there's a process to that, and we've got to make sure that we're staying in the moment to be able to do that.
I get the message. Let's just look at tomorrow.
You're going to keep asking.
No. Let's just look at tomorrow's opponents. Warwickshire. I sat and watched the last 15 overs of their game yesterday when they beat Nottinghamshire. A good game. They look a decent rounded side. What do you make of them as opponents?
Absolutely. Again, very good players in their side. Good red ball players that are playing good 50 over cricket. As I said, every team is a threat. But we're at home. We're at Radlett. It's a ground we know well, it's a wicket we know well, it's boundaries we know well, angles, etc. So we back ourselves at Radlett to perform, and if they have a day out, then so be it. But that's not, we're happy to play at Radlett. We know the wicket and we know what to do here. So we always back ourselves strongly at home.
One last one, Jono, on the conditions here at Radlett. It's obviously been fiercely dry over the last 6 weeks. Had a bit of rain yesterday, and it kind of a month's rain came down in about 3 minutes, I think. So it was a bit like a lake yesterday. What have you made of the conditions here? Obviously it's been fast, it's been dry, it's been quick outfield. What have you made of the track itself? Because there's been a little bit of up and down in it.
Yeah, there is a little bit up and down in it. It's tough for groundsmen at the moment with the weather. It's obviously been extremely dry, and knowing, obviously how much water to put on it and when to roll it and etc. is probably something that's challenged groundsmen all around the country. Yeah. So, but there are conditions. We've played more games here, so we have an advantage over other people. So that's the way we're looking at it. So the outfield, all we've asked in the outfield is people getting bodies behind it. Yeah. And taking them on the body if we need to, because it is quite a fruity outfield. But again, hopefully it's our attitude over the opposition should get us through.
Good to hear. Jono, thanks for joining us. Good luck in tomorrow's game. I look forward to catching up with you after that one, and we can have a chat about the next game.
Pleasure. No more questions? Oh, that's good. Thanks.
Thanks, Jono.